Hello everyone, and welcome to the Idaho Renaissance Fair YouTube channel. My name is Amy, but I'm better known as Lorelei the Mermaid. I'm sure many of you have come out to our Ren Fair, and if you haven't, we invite you to come out. Please do so, and seen the mermaids. But many of you might ask, what in the world do mermaids have to do with historically accurate Renaissance Fair? And that is a very good question. To answer that, I'm going to take you back a little ways into 1400 Italian Renaissance. In the 1400s, the Italian country was going through some major changes for the Renaissance, not just culturally and economically, but also religiously. And mermaids actually tie into every part of that. We're going to start with going back to merchant trade. So the Italian Renaissance, the country was split into classes that comprised the upper class and the lower class. There was not really a middle class, so to speak. That all changed with the sea trade, with silks and spices and other items coming in from other countries in Asia and across the world. Italy was poised to become a central hub for merchant trade, creating the middle class. That encompassed sailors and seafarers, and where you have seafarers and merchant trade, you have mermaids. So mermaids are folklore that predates any type of Renaissance, but was very prevalent in 1400s Italy, to the point that a lot of these merchants and seafarers truly believed that their ports were the homes to sirens and mermaids. Sirens and mermaids specifically that date back to the time of Odysseus in the Iliad, the Odyssey, because in that time frame there was a mix of Greek culture that was holding out mixed with Catholicism. Now, when you take those two and merge them, we get some interesting things happening with mermaids as well. You have your seafarers, your lower class and your middle class, that firmly believe mermaids and sirens exist. They change the weather. We have to protect ourselves against them. They're dictating what happens in the seas. And then the religious movement utilized mermaids to say, we need a change to this. And they also brought mermaids even more firmly into the culture by changing the perception of them into something that was a symbol of sin and of evil. And anything evil they were trying to move out of Italian society and move more towards a wholesome way of living as they perceived it. So mermaids slowly began a shift, but it never completed entirely, because those sailors and the sea merchants, they would see real natural wildlife out there, believe they were mermaids, and know it was different than what they were being told. So they firmly believed them beyond a shadow of a doubt. And as late as 2018, there are still cities within Italy that are having a debate with one another for tourist reasons, claiming to be the actual home place of mermaids and sirens. So this goes from 1400s and predates the 1400s into current society. Now back to the merchant point of it. The merchants in Italy, before it became prevalent that all the houses had their big shipping conglomerates, and the model for current shipping, the smaller captains in boats would go out seeking a wealthy patron to fund their expeditions, to put money in their pockets, to give them a reason to go out and buy these high-priced trade items and come back. They would get these expeditions funded, and then the captains and the vessel workers would benefit from having the patrons, and they had to woo these patrons. So what better way to woo a patron than to capture and bring in a live mermaid to show your expertise on the seas and how good you are? The mermaid lore wasn't exclusive to Italy at this time, or even later. Countries all over the world, even desert ones, believed in mermaids. Some of them believed them as harbingers. Some of them believed them to be gods. but they are prevalent in nearly every society around the world. And in more modern times, not too modern, mind you, even Christopher Columbus himself, as he was journeying to the New World, in his diaries and logs as captain, recorded instances of mermaids encountering the ship while he was on this journey. And that is a historical document that even he believed he saw them, and recorded it for everyone to know later on. In the most modern of instances, there are even P.T. Barnum had a sideshow featuring a Fiji mermaid to keep the lore alive and bring relevancy to it. People used to take half of a monkey and half of a fish and combine them and market it as a mermaid. The first appearance of the Fiji mermaid gaining popularity came about in 1849. So you can find mermaids everywhere, and yes, they are relevant to our history and our culture across the world, but definitely so in Italy, even into these modern times. Well, thank you for joining me today to learn a little bit more about mermaids. We hope your history is as fun as our history.